Hey y'all, I have a plan for your unwanted scrap paper, so let's see if you like it. I've got a paper folded hamburger style in half, and I'm drawing some lines. So the paper folded in half will give you a 6-inch area, and I'm drawing 3-inch lines. I almost wish I drew them a little bit shorter than that, but that's the way they are. Now I'm cutting my paper, and I'm cutting it on the fold so that when I unfold it, those lines that are 3 inches will become 6 inches when I unfold my paper. 2 3-inch cutting marks. You see there. Okay, now I'm going to do my drawing that's going to surround this whole thing that I'm going to make. And I'm going to be drawing a little polar bear just because I thought that would be cute. I wish I gave myself a little bit more room at the top for my polar bear's head, but it ended up working out. I'm going to draw like a triangle with rounded edges to make my bear, and then just some simple bear eyes. And then I'm going to start doing the bottom of my bear. I'm doing another little sweater area. That's where he's going to be wearing a sweater. That's the top and bottom of the sweater. And I'm going to do those lines and his feet. So I just have an outline for what I'm going to be putting in the middle, which will be a weaving. So I'm going to draw the outside of the sweater that I'm creating, and the bear's feet, and then his arms. Now listen, if you have any scrap paper laying around, projects that failed, just paper left over, anything, I suggest you go and get some strips of that. I have scrap paper everywhere around my little virtual classroom. So I just grabbed some of that and I started cutting out strips. The strips should be at least 6 inches long, but they don't even have to be that long. Actually, no, they're not 6 inches long. They have to be like 5 inches long. They don't have to be big or long at all. But I'm using that scrap to weave over and under across my paper. And then I'm going to alternate with this gross piece of water damaged pink paper I have. Tucking it under, then under again, and that gave me some trouble. I actually wish I started from the back with this, and I end up doing that later. Now I've got it all lined up. I'm going to put a little glue on that end just so it stays nice and steady. And I'm going to do the same over here. It really does help to flip the paper around when you're working on it because it really does make a difference in the end. It makes it easier to maneuver all of your paper. I do like switching it up. So in the front you have over, under, and then under, over, and alternating that. So I'm finding a couple more pieces of water damaged or paper that I was going to recycle, and I'm cutting strips out of that and throwing it into my little bear, weaving it over and under. There we go. Yep, doing a little bit more glue to secure it. And you can see from the back how this is all scrap paper. I was going to use a paper from a failed project, but then I decided it would be too chaotic. So I'm using watercolored paper from a different failed project that I had. I'm going to move that down so I can put a little bit of glue stick glue on there and just slide it back up. And then it's semi-secured. I think I'll put one more strip in there. Yeah, some green scrap that I had lying around. It's also, you could use like typed paper for this, paper you wrote on, any scrap paper. I'm using a bunch of different colors of scrap, but this is all scrap. This is all paper I would have thrown in the recycling otherwise. Lining that up really nice, trimming it. Oh, first I'm gluing it and then I'm going to trim it. and moving it up. And here I'm going to get some tape, and I'm just going to tape all of the important stuff down. Just because it's on the back, you can't really see it. I get some transparent tape, and I just secure that whole thing. Okay, I've decided at this point that I am going to cut out my little bear here. It looks nice cut out, but I'm going to say you don't have to cut it out if you don't want to. Okay, so I'm just about finished cutting out my bear at this point. I've got a few more things. But I'm starting to think, well, if this is a scrap paper project, I should probably use that scrap that I cut off my bear. So I think I'm going to make a little hat right here, just with some markers. And that way I'll feel like I'm not really wasting that little bit of paper on this project where I'm supposed to be using, essentially, wasted paper. So I make him a little hat. It says number 1 bear, just because. Then I'm going to cut that out. And I'll secure it to the top of my bear's head. I think I'm going to do that just with some tape, because I'm not going to have a huge gluing section to use, as you'll see in just a second. Not a lot of glue room there, obviously. So I'm going to flip it over, flip my hat over, obviously, line it all up, and then I'll just grab my piece of tape, put it on, and I can flip it back over, and I have my bear. And he's looking pretty cute now, but I would like to throw in a couple more details. And I'm going to do that now. You don't have to put these details in here, but I do think it makes it just like a little bit more worthwhile if you put a little bit more effort into your bear and creating a nice looking bear that looks good. Obviously, you can use your base paper, it can be something else. There's a lot of variation that you can do with this project, but I do hope you like it. And show me when you're all finished. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.